Okay, no lie, guys. This is going to be the weirdest fucking list you're ever going to see. Welcome back to Comic Universe, the only thing you need nerd-centric in your life. And, yeah, Dubs and I are going to be doing a very interesting list we've done so far. Keep in mind when I say so far, because we could easily think of something really weird.
And I'm sure at some point we'll get to that.
Like, weirdest video game bosses, which number one, I'm telling you right now, would be the Great Mighty Pooh from Conkers.
Oh, of course. Definitely top 5 at the very least. So.
I am the Great Mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you.
Alright, so that's
okay.
That's
sorry.
Okay. Alright, so back to the point of the video. So we are going to be doing the top 10 rabbits in pop culture, nerd culture, whatever you want to call it. Basically in honor of Easter.
Yeah,
which
because,
is tomorrow,
you know...
as of this recording.
Yeah, as of this recording, because we don't know when we'll have it up, but just know in Easter, like, it's in spirit. You know, the Easter Bunny got nailed to the cross, or something, how that holiday goes.
Not to offend anybody out there, but we're just kind of sticking to the Americanized version, I guess, if you will, of what makes, you know, kids all excited about the holiday and things of that nature. So we're going to do, normally in the past with our top 10s, we've kind of done, I've done 10, and he's done 10, or he's done 5, and I've done 5, and we've kind of blended. So today we're going to give you just 10, and maybe a few honorable mentions, but this is going to be a combined effort between who we think makes the top 10 greatest rabbits in pop culture. But there are some factors that we put into it. Some of these are just, they're classic, you know, and their impact on rabbits and pop culture. And some of them are our personal favorites. So it's a mixed bag of who we say are the top 10 and who I think nobody can dispute who are the top 10.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind, like, this is our personal opinion on where these characters are. So, if you think, I can't believe I'm saying this, if you think a rabbit should be higher, god damn it, if you think a rabbit should be higher or lower,
a rabbit, a bunny, or a hare should be higher or lower on the list,
or not at all.
Absolutely.
We're off to a great start, I hope you know. So let's get this.
Definitely, we want to know what you guys think. Okay, and if you have your own list, feel free.
Yeah. So let's get started with our number 10, which is not just one bunny, but because bunnies are known best for multiplying
quickly,
and this time they get very big and kind of hungry, we're going to be talking about the rabbits from Night of the Lepus. Yeah, that's a movie. You guys would probably know
it's a great B movie.
It is a great B movie, but you know how I first saw that movie? In that little clip in The Matrix. That's how I was like, is that a real movie?
Yes. Yes.
Don't lie, that's probably how you saw it too.
No, I saw it as a kid way back when I was younger. Actually, I remember it on TBS. It was on TBS. And it was on TBS, and it was on a marathon.
Oh, Monster Mania.
Yeah, so it played for like 4 hours straight, back to back to back to back. And I was like, why? And I guess it was maybe when it first came to Prime
it could have been an Easter thing.
Oh, it could have been. I don't know. But I just remember watching it twice in a row. And then my mom came in and she was watching it the third time. And I was like, I can't watch it 3 times. I liked it, but I was like, all right, it's time to go outside and play. I'm done.
I mean, if you're thinking this is like cinema masterpiece, it's giant frickin' rabbits. You know what you're getting into.
So, with these rabbits, it wouldn't be a list with us if there wasn't a kaiju on it somewhere, right? And I guess you can kind of consider these. We're not talking like skyscraper level, but they are way bigger than your average rabbit or your average hare, if you will.
And they're not looking for carrots.
Right. They are man-eating. They are definitely trampling over. And I actually remember seeing something about this movie when it was made. Maybe it was on DVD features or something. I don't know. But I remember when it came on TV, they weren't allowed to show any of the actual violence from the rabbits. So it was an edited movie the first time I saw it, opposed to the not the second time because it was on a rerun, but the next time I saw it, it was more like, no, they're coming, and then the rabbits would just be bouncing around. Okay, so you didn't even get to see people get trampled or anything the first time I saw it, so it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Also, what I reminded of this movie of is that DeForest Kelley's in here, the actor who played Bones from Star Trek TOS. Yeah, I don't know how much they paid him to get in this movie, but
back then probably bare bones.
You made it funny. You made it funny. But when you see this movie, go with an open mind.
Right.
So I think that's all we have to say.
Yeah. If you're a B movie kind of guy, you like monster movies or like classic Elvira type movies, this is right up your alley.
Yeah. So there you go, our number 10. So our number 9 is they're furry, they're funny, they're Babs and Buster Bunny.
Montana Max has money. Elvira is a pain. Okay, that's another thing on this video. So yes, number 9 is going to be a duo. Okay, of Babs and Buster Bunny.
Because you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, absolutely. They're adjacent. They're hand in hand, if you will.
I like one of my favorite bits is even when they're in. It's one of their cartoons. I think it was from like Animaniacs, where they cameo, and it's for Noah's Ark. And he's like, they come on Noah's Ark, and they're like, "We're Babs and Buster Bunny, no relation. Thank God this is a kids show."
I mean, Spielberg was known every once in a while to getting a good quip in there for the older audience. But really, this show was way, way ahead of its time. Yeah. And in terms of like lead characters, they are probably
strong lead. Like
they were up there with who their counterpart is in the actual Looney Tunes. Like they mirror him perfectly. I think that both of them together really kind of make. We'll talk about him later. Don't worry.
You know who we're talking about,
right? And I mean, they were good as a pair. They were good when they were individual. I mean, they were aesthetically pleasing. They were pretty cool.
Yeah, they're like it's kind of like an Abbott and Costello kind of like thing. Yeah. But like I said, they mirror who very well. Like Buster's definitely like he has that smart aleck tone to him, like, and Babs brings all like the fun quips and all that.
And she was also quick to do like all the I don't want to call it cosplay, but like where she would switch into a different character and things like that.
Much
pop culture. Much like Bob. Like I almost said his name. The other guy.
Yeah. And you just can't have like I feel like when we were doing this, we were just like, yeah, we've got to have them somewhere on this list.
I agree.
The reason why they're not higher is because I feel like we kind of talked about this is like there are some characters on here that kind of have a little more value. But Babs and this does just because they're on number 9. I feel like it doesn't discredit.
Right. They easily could have made it higher on this list, especially because of how well they are compared to their counterpart. But some of the other people on here just affect pop culture in a much grander scale. Is the only reason. Now, this list could change in another few years if Looney Tunes somehow or Tiny Toons finds a way to come back.
Please do.
Or we get an updated version, or if we get to see them as adults, that would be really freaking epic, and that could bring them up.
It was kind of funny. Like, you remember the Looney Tunes show from the late 2000s?
Yeah.
There was actually like talk that apparently Babs and Buster were going to show up in that show.
That would have been amazing.
They were going to show up as like teenagers.
Okay.
And I was like.
But guys, if you've never seen the show, just real quick before we move on to number 8, the concept of this show, guys, is basically there's a university for the Looney Tunes and Toons, if you will, Tiny Toons.
And Bugs the headmaster.
Yeah, Bugs, Daffy, all of the old school Looney Tunes are the teachers and principals and whatnot of this.
It's the Xavier Academy.
Yeah, basically. So all the younger generation is learning from them how to become good Looney Tunes. And that's the kind of overarching plot, even though there really wasn't like a plot, but and then there were individual stories and things like that, and this is just a side note, and I know it has nothing to do with Babs and Buster, but my absolute favorite thing from that show is toilet paper go down the hole. That's just I have to talk about
toilet paper go down the hole.
Yes. So guys, if you've never seen it, definitely check it out. I guarantee you it'll be one of your most favorite things you've ever watched.
Yeah. So our number 8 is going to be Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Now I know Oswald's has made a big resurgence, but people
especially with the video games.
Yeah, Epic Mickey, and he's gotten some fun back, and he was actually a bigger inspiration than Mickey was for a video game I really enjoy called Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Yes. Which
is a really cool horror game if you guys haven't checked it out. But Oswald, his impact is that had it not been for Oswald, there would be no Mickey.
Right, absolutely. And a lot of people are quick to think, if they're not in the know, the Mickey Mouse is the first character, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, well, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
You know, and so I mean, just he came first, and if you've never really seen him, he's very similar to the look of Mickey as well, especially Steamboat Mickey. But in terms of Oswald, I mean, he even just if all you know of him is from the game, he was pretty cool. You know, he was funny. He had you can kind of see where the inspiration for Mickey comes from, for sure.
Yeah, and the reason why, you know, because Walt Disney and Iwerks can't, you know, I feel like you have to mention for creating, because he was essentially the co-creator for Mickey Mouse. A lot of people forget him. Mm-hmm. Whole cool story, which I'll get into one day on this channel with Iwerks. But Oswald was owned by a different company, and for a while, Walt and could not use Oswald for their own thing, so hence they went on to create Mickey, and the story goes, as we all know, became Disney, the giant hulking behemoth of a company that it is.
I can't say it was a bad decision, to be honest with you. As much as we like Oswald, we can't say it was a bad decision.
And Oswald's back in the Disney echelon.
Correct, yes. And actually, funny enough, from time to time, you can actually see him at Disney World. I have seen him.
Yeah, I've seen him
which
too.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and he came back in, you know, in Epic Mickey, and I think he's going to have an appearance in Kingdom Hearts.
That's awesome. I would be very happy with that. And it's funny enough, you know, this is just a side note. Like, you know, obviously I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
So, you know, and we do live in Orlando for anyone who doesn't know. So it is pretty easy for us to go to Disney from time to time.
Driving wise, not economically wise.
But, you know, as an adult, I remember is when I saw Oswald at the park, and, you know, I don't want to say I was like a little kid, but I don't go around and just go taking pictures with the characters anymore. It's not what I go there for. But I did make it a point to actually go. I was like, oh man, it's probably the last time I'll ever see this. So I was like, I did go make it a point to go and take a picture with him as a grown adult. You know, and it was way back in the day. I think it might be on MySpace, to be honest with you, that picture. So
anyway, I think he's starting to become a regular now at the park.
Oh, possibly. I mean, it is possible, but at the time, I just remember I'll probably never see this again. So.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Oswald.
Our number 8.
Our number 8. So number 7, we're going back to Looney Tunes with Lola Bunny.
Oh, sorry. No.
Now, you know, I know what you're thinking, but Lola didn't do anything.
Hello, nurse.
That's what we remember, you know, Lola for the most. But honestly...
Ooga. Okay, I'll stop.
Thank you. Lola... I think a lot of people remember, of course, from Space Jam, but honestly, and I never cared for her character because she was just like female Bugs, and she's just hot. That's it. But I think her... shut up. I think her best character, you know, when she was in the Looney Tunes show in the late 2000s, which that is a great show. If you have not checked it out, it's essentially Daffy and Bugs living together. It's like Seinfeld, but with the Looney Tunes element.
Interesting.
Yeah. And in there, Lola is portrayed as this like very talkative, very obsessive for Bugs, and kind of airheaded. But she's a lot of fun. She was voiced by, I think, Felicia Day. Mm-hmm. Or I think that was her. And she is just has all these great quips and whatnot, and she plays off of all the characters so well because she's so like naive and airheaded, and it's so different from the Lola we got there. But there's an actual character with her, and she's just a ton of fun to listen to. Just talk about. There's even a song she does about Bugs called "We Are in Love," and Bugs is like, "What the hell are you doing? Get out of my house!"
You know, but for me, you know, honestly, I unfortunately only seen bits and parts of that incarnation of the Looney Tunes. With me, and why I had absolutely no problem with putting her on this list, and actually, you know, higher than some of the other characters like Oswald and Buster and Babs, who could have, you know, been above her too, is Space Jam, is where I was obviously, like most of us, first introduced to her. But in that role, I see her more of like an empowerment for women at the time.
I wouldn't say that.
She was fine enough with the way she looks, you know. She didn't take any trash from the boys.
But at the same time, like whenever she says "Don't ever call me doll," she does stuff like that entrance when she's entered to the team. She's walking in like
not to any offense to any of our lady fans out there and friends out there and family out there, but there are a lot of women who will quick to flaunt what they got, but don't want anybody to comment or be a hound towards them because of that. Just because they look like that doesn't give us the right to be like that.
Yeah.
But enough of the us going on about that. But to me, at least, that's how I took it. To a certain degree, she was somewhat of an empowerment towards women, and this was in a time before we had really big female sports stars like this, Serena Williams and things like that. So, little girls didn't have really anything to look forward to in terms of sports back then. So even though this was animated and not real, okay, this was something that some girls could go, I want to grow up and be a basketball player. So in that regard, I think it's kind of cool and why she deserves to definitely be in our top 10. Plus, other than Babs, there's only a handful of female rabbits on there, on anyone's list anyway. So she's, in that regard, deserves to be on here enough.
Yeah. I'm going to go for the Looney Tunes show version of Lola. Two different Lolas, and kind of why we had her a little higher on the list is for our own different
versions. Yeah, no, but I was just saying, like, we can have a character and have many different versions of a character. And then we're going to get to another character on this list that has many, many, many versions. Okay.
Oh, don't worry, he's coming. You know who we're talking about.
Okay, but in every version of this list is that character. So there's no reason why we can't have two sides of the same coin for the same character. So number 7, Lola Bunny.
There you go. So number 6 is Bucky O'Hare.
Yes.
And funny story. When we were making this list, we were
I forgot all about him.
Yeah, it wasn't until I well, what about Bucky? And you went, oh my God, what was I doing?
I was like, how did I not have him on this list? Like, it's funny because that is one of my all-time, even though it was such a short run, it's one of my all-time favorite shows as a kid. Like, it came on every other Sunday, okay, like 8 in the morning when I was growing up, and I was not depressed, but I was not happy on the Sundays when it wasn't on. And I didn't understand why every other show in the world either came on every day, or if it was on Sundays, it came on every Sunday. This show came on every other Sunday. Yeah. And I figured it out. It was because there was only such a short run, one season, barely even one season. I don't even know if it ended. I don't even remember. But man, the intro, if you've never seen this, dude, check it out on YouTube.
It kicks you in the balls.
Oh, and then your teeth, and then kicks you in the ass and kicks you out the door. It is epic. Like, there's only a handful of, like, especially 80s and early 90s cartoons that are more hardcore rock awesomeness. Like, it is, like, Energizer Bunny to the T, funny enough.
Yeah.
Oh man, and if you've never seen the show, it's about space toads and space rabbits and space ducks. And it's just great.
It's basically like if Star Fox had an animated show.
If he was a rabbit. And if he was a green hair. Let's keep it right. What the actual difference are, I think it's just maybe the length of the ears and the legs, but regardless. Yeah. But yeah, so Bucky O'Hare, man. I mean, he also has an awesome ass Nintendo game if you've never played it. Very hard. Like, obviously...
if you thought Cuphead was hard...
Yeah, I mean, well, listen. Let's just be real. Kids nowadays, they don't understand hard. They may have Dark Souls and Cuphead, but man, almost every single game I had for Nintendo took me years.
Yeah. Try playing the Lion King game.
Right. Everything Nintendo and Super Nintendo took years to beat, man. There was no sit down one sitting beating games. Like, even, I mean, I'm sure, Mario's were kind of easy, but you ain't popping Metroid in, try beating the Silver Surfer. That game is so buggy that you could barely, sometimes that's what made the game so hard. But anyway, guys, Nintendo games were the hardest. Bucky O'Hare was fantastic.
Very day, that's what we're devolving.
Right? So, any other thoughts on Bucky?
No, I think we got it.
So, guys, check it out. Let us know when you do go see that video of the intro to that show. Let us know what you think on that one. So that's our number 6, Bucky O'Hare.
Now we're going to the top 5.
Top 5.
And we're kicking things off with Roger Rabbit.
Please, Eddie. That was really bad.
That was better than what I was going to do.
Oh,
which would have sucked. Man, Roger Rabbit. This cartoon... Like, you can't do this these days. Not with companies at war with each other. What this movie did blew my fucking mind as a child.
Same here.
You had Mickey and Bugs for a whole minute together on screen. Did you think that was ever going to happen?
No, not in my life.
Did you ever think you were going to see Donald and Daffy argue on screen?
No, not at all. Ever. This movie, man, does a lot. It hits you in every area, man. It hits you in the feels. It's entertaining. It's exciting. It's even like
a crime noir.
Yeah, it's like everything. If you've never seen this movie, you're really doing yourself an injustice. Definitely, I would say it's in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I remember buying it on DVD. I remember buying it on Blu-ray. I even remember buying it on VHS. Like I have every copy that this movie's ever come out. I have like a special edition for it that came with like a book. Like this is such a great movie. Basically, you know, it's just like you said, it's a crime noir. So somebody kills. Who was it? A studio executive.
Yeah.
They kill it. They kill a studio executive, and it's blamed on Roger. And basically, he hires a PA to kind of help. A PI, sorry. Tries a PA. That's funny. A physician's assistant. Yeah, right. Now, so basically, to figure out who killed this guy and save him, and you know, we get so many characters. And another thing, this movie doesn't get enough credit because it was. Granted, it was only for minutes on end, and nothing in the comparison that we're going to get in Infinity War, but the amount of characters that we would get on screen at one time. This was probably the first movie to ever get that many characters, especially at the end. I get it, it's just like a little scene. But man, there's characters, like, you could sit there and pause the film and
like, oh my god, Porky Pig is hanging out with Tinkerbell.
Right, and exactly. It's like, what the hell?
And Roger himself is a fun character. He's fun. He's a little annoying, but that's the point of his character.
Right.
It's supposed to be like something like 48 Hours with him and Eddie.
Right, absolutely.
And he's such a like energetic character, and there's so much so much emotion to him. Like he may play off as like kind of an idiot, but there's more to him.
Right. Yeah. And his wife.
Yeah.
I can't not talk about him, this movie, without talking about
first waifu.
It was. I am not ashamed to admit it. It was my first crush. Her and Alyssa Milano from Who's the Boss are my two first crushes. I'm not quite sure which one came first when I was a kid. I was like, but you know, I remember seeing her, and there were some things going on I didn't understand at the time. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man, could you imagine Craig going? Okay, here's C-Dubs going through puberty. Real quick, here's the scene.
Oh, when I saw it, I wasn't even in that time frame in my life. It was a little younger than that. So
but hang on,
I didn't understand what was going on.
Let me play the scene for him. How it probably went. Man, Jessica Rabbit looks really cute. Oh, my balls dropped.
When they did, I didn't know what was happening.
It just went thud.
What was that sound? Why do I sound so different? But no, seriously, all fun and games. But I don't think there's any red-blooded male that saw that as a kid that didn't go, "Wow, she's hot." You know, I'm sorry. I know that's the point of her. Because even Eddie in the movie's just like popping his collar because he's like, he's just like, wow. I mean, and just to put in perspective, man, she makes Betty Boop look like a dog.
And it's funny because Betty's in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but...
So yeah, guys, that's our number 5. Do you have any other thoughts on Mr. Roger?
No.
Alright, that's our number 5, guys. So moving on to number 4. So go ahead.
So number 4 is a rabbit that has 2 names and 2 different backgrounds.
Yeah, we found that out today when I was doing some research for the video.
Yeah, this guy's a trooper. He spent an entire day compiling a list of animated rabbits. I think he deserves like a Medal of Honor.
All rabbits, mostly animated, but all rabbits.
Yeah,
and
found out like facts, and I looked at him and went, "I pity you right now."
Yeah, he did actually say that. So number 4 is Peter Rabbit, also known as Peter Cottontail. Lo and behold, it turns out they are the same rabbit, even though they don't necessarily look the same, act the same, or deal with some of the same things in whatever incarnation that you read. But while doing some research, they are considered the same character. And Peter Rabbit, the reason why he's so high on this list, and we're not talking about the movie that just passed. That is a part of his canon and his history. And it just shows the longevity of this character. But Peter Rabbit has been around since 1901. Let that sink in for a second, how long this character has been around. So that just basically means he's going to be around a lot longer than any of us. So when we die, the story of Peter Rabbit is still going to be told. You know, books may not be as prevalent as they once used to be, but digital form, he's going to live on. All of these characters are obviously going to live on forever, but clearly Peter Rabbit has stood the test of time and is going nowhere. I remember reading the book in school. I liked it for the time frame. I think we were in elementary school when we read it.
You know, it's kind of funny that, you know, Peter Rabbit and Peter Cottontail are one and the same. Like, how people, like, set up now, because there's, like, it's like a canon now. Like, Peter Rabbit is, like, his year one story.
You should so do something like that.
Like,
leave it to us. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, like, Peter Rabbit is, like, his year one story, and Cottontail is, like, his adventures of Superman.
Right. So there's really not too much to say about Peter, you know, but obviously it's just because of his longevity and his importance to literature, you know, he's how he got so high on the list. You know, you guys may not even have him on your list, but we kind of opened our horizons on that, just kind of looked at everything as a whole. And you know, I can't really. I haven't seen the movie, the new movie.
I don't. I haven't even seen the movie, but like no.
But I'll be honest. I mean, once I see it on Redbox, I would give it a shot. It's something that I can have just a mindless evening with my wife and watch. And I'm sure there'll be some parts about it that are funny, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of parts that are annoying because I'm not the target demographic. But you know, if I do get to see it, I'll let you guys know what I think. Anything else about Peter?
No. Not for me.
All right, so that's our number 4, Peter Rabbit. So now we're into the top 3. Now these 3 heavyweights, one of which I think will shock you, one of which is a given, and the other one is debatable on where he falls on this list, I think. So, all right, so go ahead with number 3.
Number 3 is Usagi Yojimbo.
Yojimbo.
And I was kind of, it was kind of funny when we were making this list, I kind of argued for him to be higher.
He did. I didn't think he deserved to be this high on the list. In the top 10, I would definitely agree. And if I'm going to sit here and make my personal top 10, I think I would have him probably in the 3rd spot. But if I was going to take everything into effect, originally, I'll be honest, I had Peter Rabbit ahead of him just because, again, around since 1901, and he's going to far outlast, let's be honest, Yojimbo in the grand scheme of things. Unless he drops something that's classic in the next 10 years, I don't see him outlasting Peter Rabbit, but no taking away from the impact and the current impact that this character is having.
Yeah. I think of why Yojimbo is he's so classic is that he really embodies, even though it's an anthropomorphic rabbit, a lot of his stories come from ancient, you know, Japanese history.
Right.
And he is a Ronin, and a lot of the stories are part of historical fact, and it's some of them are retellings of that. And it's such an interesting character to note that Usagi is this very even though he's again an anthropomorphic rabbit, he's such a complex and very, you know, mentally broken character, and you see him go through these arcs over and over again, and the fact that he could just kick some ass.
Yeah, hands down. There's not very many that can stand toe to toe
with the turtles and beat them down by himself.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I remember back when I was a kid in the 80s, when I first saw him on the original animated show, he quickly became like in my top 5 favorite characters. Like he was ahead of some of the turtles. Like for me, it's like Casey Jones, Leonardo, Raphael, and him. Yeah. And Usagi. Those are my like favorite Ninja Turtle characters.
Which is funny because Usagi's technically a Dark Horse character.
Correct.
So he's not really in the same like comic even universe as them.
Per se, but I mean it all depends on the canon. I mean I know in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, the rights and all that.
Correct.
Yeah.
But also it's funny because he's also been in a couple of other incarnations, you know, as well, and I liked him in those versions as well. He's a character that spans literature and animated as well, and hopefully someday we'll see him in a movie, a good movie that's not produced by Michael Bay.
Getting an animated series.
As long as it's not produced by Michael Bay.
Yeah.
We'll say that again. I want to see him in a live action movie myself. But
like how would you do that?
We've got Ninja Turtles. Why can't we have him?
I mean, like animated would be a little.
It'd be cool. I want an animated movie too. I'll take an animated TV show, but I think a live action movie would be just fine. I don't care. It could be fantasy. I mean, what the Warriors with the bouncing kangaroos. Remember that when you were a kid? I mean, it's possible. I mean, Jim Henson's studios can do wonders, and CGI, as long as you invest the money and know how to remove mustaches, CGI is great. You know, you. Sorry, I did not mean to take a stab at the Justice League and the DCEU.
You totally did.
Or any of you fans out there. I really wasn't. I mean, but let's just be honest here. I mean, you could watch like movies and see CGI and just be blown away, and then you watch the mustache and it's Mr. Mustachio. But no, really, this character is awesome. I actually, believe it or not, I wish I would have pulled him out, but he's actually broken. I think his ears bent and broke. I have the original Ninja Turtle toy, Usagi. And one thing I always remember, just as the last thing before we go on, that always kind of threw me for a loop is he looked nothing like his counterpart to the comic or to the cartoon. He looked badass, but he didn't look like any of the characters. So yeah, that's our number 3. Usagi Yojimbo, any other thoughts?
No, I think we got it. So number 2. This
now here, real quick, before we go, number 1 and 2. Especially for the season that we're in, can kind of be debatable, I think. But I think we got it right, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So number 2?
Number 2 is the Easter Bunny.
Of course, the Easter Bunny. With the holiday upon us, how could we not have him on the list? And how could he not be this high on the list? It's debatable if he should be the first because of, worldwide recognition.
Yeah.
And there's many different versions of the Easter Bunny. I mean, funny enough, me and my wife were at the mall the other day, and I myself have never seen, other than my favorite incarnation of the Easter Bunny, which we'll talk about in a second. I'm sure he's up there with you as well. But in portrayed in like at malls and things like that, I've never seen a brown Easter Bunny. It's always a white Easter Bunny for me. Every time I've gone as a kid to take a picture. But there was this scary looking brown Easter Bunny at the mall taking pictures with kids. I was like, what? I was like, that's so strange. But personally, my favorite Easter Bunny, and I think it might be your very favorite Easter Bunny, is voiced by none other than my boy Wolverine.
Yeah. Rise of the Guardians Easter Bunny.
Absolutely. The Australian Aussie himself. I mean, if you've never seen that movie is absolutely epic.
It is so fucking underrated.
Oh, absolutely. It's something that I wish they would continue.
Yeah.
Like in comic form.
The animated series. Get on it, Netflix.
Oh, yes. Please make it happen. Like, that's something I can watch year-round. The concept of it is so great. And there's so many other characters we can
like
introduce.
Cupid. You don't even need like the boogeyman anymore. You could do like the Spirit of Halloween. Sam Hain is the villain.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things they could do, to be honest with you. But dude, that character is so awesome. His boomerangs, his army of Easter men, the eggs. Come on, it's so great. And how he could kind of teleport, if you will, through his rabbit holes, and they actually show him like running through it. Oh man, he was freaking great. I think he stole the show in that movie. I mean, Jack was cool and all, but the bunny was the best. Even when he shrank down, dude, it was awesome.
I'm a bunny, Mike.
From now on, we will refer to you as Bunny Mate, okay? No, I'm just joking.
So, there you go, guys.
Number 2, the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
And
number 1...
As if you didn't already know.
Our number 1 can be summed up in one sentence. What's up, Doc?
Kill the rabbit. No, but Bugs. What can be said that everybody hasn't already thought of or knew? I mean, he's the greatest rabbit ever created.
And greatest cartoon character. Well... It's debatable between him and Mickey, but...
Right. I was going to say, the only person who could even rival him and step into his wheelhouse is Mickey Mouse. And that's saying something. And if it wasn't for the power of everything that Disney has behind Mickey, we could easily be looking at whoever owns Looney Tunes at this point.
Warner Brothers.
That's right. They still have them, I guess.
He came from...
I guess. Yeah, you're right. But I was thinking like Merry Melodies and things like that. But, I got what you're saying. I wasn't thinking about it when I said it. But seriously, guys, I mean, it's classic. I mean...
He's good. If you think of one character that's going to outlive everybody, it's Bugs.
I mean, and he, at the very least, he's definitely the one character that outsmarts everybody.
Yeah.
He's probably the single-handed smartest animated character ever.
He's definitely the one guy who could outsmart Batman. If you which is funny because we did have that Batman Elmer Fudd comic.
Let's get that happening. I want to see that so bad. World's Greatest Detective.
And he actually did show it, like, before there was that, there was the Superman Bugs Bunny crossover. Which, that was the thing. It had literally Darkseid teaming up with Marvin.
Oh, that's so great. That's awesome. But, you know, this is another character that has many incarnations.
But he's usually the same person. It's not like they change him that much.
Right. But he's also quick to change himself. And in every version you see him, he's a master of cosplay. He's a master of disguise.
Quick-witted.
Indestructible because he's a toon, you know, unless we got the goo from Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, you know. But Bugs, his intelligence, his comedic delivery, and when you think of really good animated episodes, a lot of them are Bugs. I mean, Duck Amuck is probably my favorite.
Right, and he can play basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know, for the shits and giggles, you want to talk about our favorite Bugs Bunny cartoons?
Yeah, go shoot.
I guess Duck Amuck counts because he's the one behind it all.
Right.
A close up, you jerk! A close up.
You know, I wouldn't sit here and go.
Well, it's Opera Doc, obviously.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite. I don't know, man. There's just so many there's so many scenes and so many things from that era. I remember, you know, just every evening it would play on for 2 hours on TNT back when I was a kid, and I would watch it, and it was my favorite time of the day. It's get done with homework, get done with dinner, get to watch some Looney Tunes before bed. I mean, that's how I spent my Looney Tunes, you know, and Bugs, I mean, he's the captain, he's the leader, you know, no one can touch him. I mean...
Yeah. There's not much else you could say other than he's, you know... And if it weren't for the mouse, the rabbit would be the king of cartoons.
I would agree. Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of like our conversation last week with the kaiju, you know, it's King Kong's considered the king of the or Godzilla's considered the king of the monsters, but if it wasn't for, you know, Kong, none of them would exist, so it's debatable really who you want to put in number one and number two.
Well, Mickey technically came first. So.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because it's debatable, some people would sit here and go, oh no, Bugs is greater because of, you know, he's funnier, I mean, and even though neither one are really in the limelight right now, it's still kind of, I think Bugs would take him in terms of the limelight right now, because Mickey seems to be so far on the back burner, even though Disney is the big engine that could, if you will. But
there's another one, Death Battle, Bugs versus Mickey.
Yes, how has that not happened yet? Come on, guys.
You guys
YOUniverse, get on it. Let's let Death Battle know we want to see that happen.
I mean, you had Mario and Sonic fight, and you had Smokey the Bear fight. What, you know?
The dog.
Griff.
Is it Griff?
Is it Griff? I don't know.
But the crime dog, yes.
Yeah. McGruff the crime dog.
That's it.
But yeah, so there you go, our number one. So for real quick, honorable mentions are as followed. The bunnies from Watership Down, which that's actually getting a Netflix animated show. Good luck! You know, I can't wait for a new generation to be traumatized.
I doubt it will live up to what it once was. But guys, if you've never seen this film, watch it, but definitely make sure, even though it's animated, I would recommend if you are adults, don't watch it with young kids under 5. It can be really traumatizing. It's rough. Even as an adult, you can sit there and go, oh my God, what am I watching? It's very brutal. You see a lot of death and blood, and for animated rabbits, it's kind of scary.
Yeah. For others, it would be the Trix Rabbit.
Yeah, I would kind of group the Energizer Bunny, the Trix Rabbit, and the Nestle Quick Rabbit, just because of how iconic they are in terms of the market and the product that they.
And I mean, hell, Superman teamed up with the Nestle Quick Bunny.
He did. He absolutely did. Also, even though he's someone that we didn't think of and could have made our list, I think, knowing us, Captain Carrot, I think he could have made our list.
We also have, in terms of other, is Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh.
Rabbit, I would say Rabbit and Thumper, just because of how iconic those two characters are within the realm of the big Disney engine that could.
Yeah.
And, you know, just for our younger audience, I think, and because they are kind of crossing over with the Mario universe now, the rabbits from the whole Rain Man saga franchise, if you will. Just the fact that they're able to kind of cross over, and it's a good game for the Nintendo Switch. the Rabbids and Mario crossovers. So guys, those are our, honorable mentions that could have made our list as well. And guys, there are many, I know it's something you probably never thought of, but if you guys do the research or look it up or try to make up your own list, you'll see there are many great rabbit, hare, and bunny characters out there. So guys, let us know who you would put on our list. Let us know what you think of our list.
And once again, see you once more in the universe.